morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. Welcome back to my little segment here, Cuppa with Spirit, where I chat about all things spiritual and to hopefully help improve people's lives for themselves through their own work. When I asked my team, my spirit team, what to talk about this evening, and I got the word peace, which is actually quite befitting, to be fair, because it's been a roller coaster few weeks here within my family, with work, business, and we had a passing of a family member a couple of weeks ago, so we have their funeral next week. So with all of that and nipping all over the country, doing a lot of miles on my car, bless it, and changing venues. We've got an expo this weekend. I found myself craving peace more than ever, if I'm absolutely honest. And whilst my schedule doesn't unfortunately permit a long time here and there, I found that just the odd 10 minutes just to have a cuppa and look out the window, or to listen to some music, etc., I found has really helped me. So maybe this is why Spirit have prompted me to talk about this subject. So I'll just ask you, what does peace mean to you? I just want you to consider that for a moment. What does it mean to you? I know what it means to me. And I'll share that with you this evening. So it's peace of heart. And to me, peace of heart means forgiveness. Forgiveness of self. And I know I've probably mentioned this a few times before, so please forgive me if you feel I'm going over old ground. But forgiveness of self for every part that you've played within any situation or scenario within life. If you're anything like me, these little memories can pop up in like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And maybe they pop up to be forgiven. And I'm not suggesting by any stretch of the imagination to forgive the actions, but you forgive for yourself. So you forgive the person and what's happened and their part they played in it for you, to set you free. And within that freedom, there's peace. It doesn't mean you're condoning the behaviour or what's happened or what they've done or the hurt or the pain that's been caused, but it means that you no longer allow yourself to be controlled by it. Does that make sense? I really hope so. And within this process, your heart releases grudges and anger that you may be holding, that you may not realise that's being held within this absolute essential part of your body, both physically and emotionally. And so when you do that, when you offer forgiveness for your own self, it releases grudges and anger and any other feelings and emotions associated with that situation and scenario. And I personally live by the mantra that treat everyone as a friend until they prove differently. And when they do prove differently, I do my best to learn from it and move on. And learning from it means acknowledging the emotions that is brought up. And those emotions, are they the symptom or the cure? So what I mean by that is, how you feel. Are they fresh feelings associated solely with that incident, or is it old feelings that are being held as the source of something that's happened in the past? Maybe going back to childhood. Does that make sense? I really hope it does. So I believe that gives us peace of heart. And then there's peace of mind. That's knowing that the best was done in all situations. and resisting berating yourself for something that you didn't know way back when. And when sometimes you may get scenarios that come up, oh God, I wish I'd have done things differently. Ask yourself, did you know differently? Because if you didn't know differently, how on earth could you behave differently? I mean, to me, that's fairly logical, to be fair. So really, it's giving yourself a break, being kind to yourself, thinking kindly of yourself, speaking kindly to yourself. I mean, how many of you here look in the mirror? I know people that avoid looking in the mirror on purpose because they just really don't like what they see. And there's for some reason that they're harbouring grudges against themselves for things that have happened way back when, or maybe the part that they played in a scenario, in a situation. But when we forgive ourselves, we give us peace of heart. And when we think kindly of ourselves, we give ourselves peace of mind. So it's about learning from mistakes and moving on, not resisting reheating an old meal, in other words. I mean, your mind isn't a microwave. Don't keep bunging it in there and keep going over it time and time again. And I know it can be an easy thing to do. I've done it time and time again myself. And then we have peace of the soul. Peace of the soul. So treat everyone kindly. We don't know what that person's going through. And when we treat everybody kindly, we reap what we sow. So people are going to be more inclined energetically to treat us kindly in return. And when that happens, if we all do that, just imagine how awesome the world would be. I mean, Jimi Hendrix said the words, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. And so maybe that would also come from treating everyone kindly in the first place as well. Because let's face it, nobody knows, that person standing next to you at the bus stop, you don't know how many threads that there are within their own self that are just holding things together. And a kind word and a smile can make all the difference, especially if it's somebody down on their luck, for instance. And doing good things, I believe, from my own experience, it brings peace to the soul. When we're kind, when we smile at people, and when we also spend silent time in nature and alone, and learning to like ourselves. Because I believe that us humans, by and large, are a pretty decent bunch of people. I mean, yes, sometimes things that people do and choose to do at times are questionable, at very least. But I really do believe that wholeheartedly. And when we learn to like ourselves, when we learn actually to love ourselves, when we learn to take the advice and the guidance that we offer to other people, then it is, we glow. I don't think there's any other word for it, but I really do believe that we glow. And when we have that, when we think good things and when we feel good things and when we demonstrate good things, how can good things fail to come back to us? It's the law of attraction. If any of you have ever read that book, and if you don't, thoroughly recommend it. And if you're not a one for reading, I'm pretty sure that it's on a podcast or a Kindle, or well, Kindle's still reading, isn't it? Please forgive me. Or on a talking book or something somewhere that you can listen to rather than read. So give that a crack and see how that works for you. But I am a big advocate for spending silent time in nature and alone. So again, learning to like yourself, learning to love yourself. Meditation is a marvelous way of unpicking things that have been woven into us without us even realizing it. And when we're sitting in the quiet and these things that come up, and they're there to be loved, they're there to be acknowledged, they're there to be forgiven, they're there to be embraced. Because things like fear and anger that are reactions and responses to many situations, if you say, it's a suggestion for you, because I've done this myself and I've found it works brilliantly. Whenever I've had fear come up over a situation or feeling of inadequacy or whatever it is, be it business or personal life, I've done my best to look fear in the face and say, I love you. Because within fear there is love. And I believe that with peace, peace resides in love. It's love for self and love for others. Love for what your heart has been through. Love for the process that your mind goes through to operate your body as well. I mean, it's pretty automatic, to be fair. And peace within the soul, being at peace with yourself. And when we learn to love ourselves and like ourselves and is comfortable with spending time with ourselves, when we can do that, somehow, in my experience, the world and everything just seems a little bit nicer, a little bit better, you know? And I know we've got Christmas coming up, looming very quickly around the corner, and I know for some people it's a really rubbish time of the year. Reach out. Reach out in the lead up, because there are many people out there that, as I say, really don't like it. Maybe they've lost a loved one, maybe they're alone, maybe they're really struggling financially, maybe they've got kids that they're concerned that they can't provide for in one way or another. Because let's face it, things are a little bit tight for many people right now. And so to do that, just if it is a smile, even if it is a phone call or a cup of tea or anything, then I implore you to reach out, because all of this giving of forgiveness, giving of smiles, and giving to it all, creation of peace. And so I'm going to leave you with a saying by Buddha. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. And I reckon that that's a pretty poignant thing to say. So with that, I'll leave you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening in, and catch you on the flip side. See you next week.